There are two ways of constructing a character arc. The first one is with wants and needs, and the second one is by using your armature. Okay, so character arcs are the way that your character changes from the beginning of the movie to the end. There are two ways that I'm aware of constructing a character arc. The first one is with wants and needs, and the second one is by using your armature. Armature is a one-sentence statement that you're trying to prove. So Simba in A Lion King, he's a rambunctious little cub, and he sings this song, "I Just Can't Wait to Be King."
I'm gonna be a mighty king, so enemies beware.
But for him, it's not about the power, it's just, it feels like it's the best way to have fun. That's his want. He wants to have fun. Even up to the point where he's an adult, it's the same thing. After Mufasa dies, Timon and Pumbaa find him, they teach him Hakuna Matata.
It means no worries.
It takes it to the next level of he's now an adult, just wanting to have fun. When you're a kid, that's kind of okay. But when you're an adult, that begins to be a problem. And so into the picture comes Nala.
Nala?
How did you?
And she represents his need. She comes to tell him that Scar has taken over the Pride Land and that he needs to come back and reclaim his rightful place as king. He wants nothing to do with that. He doesn't want the responsibility. It's not his problem. Hakuna Matata. He fights against it. This is how characters work. They fight against their need because they just want their want. This part, you can feel it fighting against him. He starts to feel this itch in his conscience. He still wants to have fun, but now he knows what's happening back at home and he has that urge of responsibility. This comes to a head when Rafiki, the monkey, brings him to this pool and he says, "Look, it's your father." And he looks and he's like, "That's not my father. That's just my own reflection." And then he starts to see Mufasa in the clouds. This is when Mufasa tells him, "Remember who you are." And this could be the armature of the Lion King. Remember who you are. Remember your responsibilities. Remember what you were made for, what you are here to do. And Simba, not long after this, accepts his responsibilities and he goes back to the Pride Land.
Hey! Where are you going?
I'm going back.
Good! Go on! Get out of here!
This is the end of Act 2, by the way, when he goes back to the Pride Lands, and that's usually when your character completes their arc. They accept their need over their want, and he takes on this responsibility and steps up and faces Scar. And then, of course, we know how that battle ends. So, I can't remember where I heard this, and sorry if I'm stealing it, but I've heard that for movies, the main character has to die at the end. And I mean that metaphorically. Sometimes they actually die, but you have to take them to a point where you can't see them progressing any further. The second way that you can do character arcs is with your armature. Armature is a one-sentence statement that you're trying to prove. If you know what your armature is, you know what your character has to represent at the end of the story. For A Christmas Carol, the armature is, true wealth is found in the love of your fellow human beings. So at the end of Christmas Carol, for him to represent this armature, he has to be a character that loves Christmas, loves the people around him, and is the most generous and giving to everybody. To make that arc work, at the beginning of the script, you make them completely opposite to that. He hates Christmas,
Humbug.
hates the people around him,
Even the vegetables don't like him.
and he's the greediest man in town.
My taxes go to pay for the prisons and the poorhouses. The homeless must go there.
But some would rather die.
If they'd rather die, then they'd better do it and decrease the surplus population.
So that gives your character a place to go. They're going from one extreme to the other. And you can very clearly see that in the story of A Christmas Carol. Even people who haven't really read the entirety of Christmas Carol know that journey.
Looks like the winds are changing.
Change is good.
Yeah, but it's not easy.
Stories change. And the way you show change is through character.
These shadows remain unaltered. I believe the child will die. But what then? If he's going to die, he'd better do it and decrease the surplus population. Oh, Spirit.
Story is character arc.